How's it going, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the F1 2019 Career Mode. We are in Baku this time around for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, and a Grand Prix that has always thrown up some very interesting results. I'm not going to go through that because when you hear the start of the race commentary, Crofty's going to tell you everything. So I'm not here to tell you that Lance Stroll definitely didn't get a podium one year. Definitely not. But anyway, we come off the back of a pretty disappointing two Grand Prix, as you can see there, finishing 16th in Bahrain thanks to Kevin Magnussen crashing into us, and 17th thanks to me, 17th in China thanks to me not remembering that I had front wing damage. But we're here in Baku. It's going to be a very interesting race because especially on that main straight, it's all about straight line speed, and that is something that we don't have. But also it's a street circuit, it's the first one of the season. So it's definitely going to make for a very interesting race. But first, of course, before the race, we've got to have qualifying. So let's head straight into qualifying.
The circuit has rubbed in with practice, but this is still going to be a difficult session for our drivers as they fight for pole position. Welcome to qualifying here in Azerbaijan. It always looked like the kind of track that asks an awful lot of the rear tyres, such as the frequency of low-speed exits.
No matter how good a driver is at managing their throttle application to limit rear slip, they can't always overcome a car that's inherently bad at looking after its rear tyres. Here we have a lot of low-speed corner exits, which means a whole load of energy, heat and tyre wear.
So here we are then, going on our first flying lap out around Baku in qualifying, and yeah, I mean, I actually like Baku. I'm not a big fan of the street circuits on this game, I'll be honest, but Baku is definitely my favourite out of the street circuits. Actually, no, tell a lie, Canada is technically a street circuit, isn't it? But as in, like, circuits like this, because Baku is very similar to, like, Monaco and Singapore. Baku is my favourite out of those three, I'll just say that. Especially this lovely long straight, I love it. But again, in a Toro Rosso, we're not going to have that much straight line speed as we come across, and we end up in P4 after our first lap, which isn't that bad. Well, obviously it's not that bad, but we are behind Magnussen, of course, so that P4 was just like, it wasn't anything to do with anything, to be honest with you, P4. So we go back out again, and we come back out in P15, and we're behind George Russell, which normally I'd be really annoyed about because he's in a Williams, but you know, the Williams is an absolute rocket in a straight line, and obviously half of the track is a straight line. So, I mean, it's quite easy for a Williams to get a bit higher on this track for sure. So this is our second flying lap, and as you can see, we're just about there around that corner. Get into the green in our time, but again, we lose out there. It's not the greatest lap in the world that I do, but as you can see, round pretty much what is the final proper turn in this track, we get some mad time going off of that, and that just sets us for the rest of the straight. I mean, look at us, we're actually gaining time on the straight, which is something that doesn't normally happen for me in a Toro Rosso. But we end up about a tenth over our time, and that lifts us up to P11 from P15, so we're ahead of an Alfa Romeo as well, of Lucas Weber, which is pretty damn good. And we actually don't get time for another lap. We're just approaching the line there to start another lap, but I just about ran out of time. But you know what? It's P15. That's better than I've done so far, for sure. And, you know, the team are happy with that. So what are you going to do? Leclerc gets on pole with Vettel in second. So both Ferraris in the front row, both Mercedes in the second row. Devin Butler having a horrible qualifying, finishing in P19.
Good afternoon and welcome to Baku. This was the arena, if you think back to 2017, of one of the most eventful races of modern history, with controversy behind the safety car, last-second overtakes, and a historic podium for Williams and for Lance Stroll. So let's find out what lies in store for us this year. It's time for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Baku City Circuit then, an unpredictable 3.7-mile track around the streets of the Azerbaijan capital. 20 turns for our drivers to navigate today, including the infamous Turn 8, one of the tightest and most challenging corners of the season. Anthony Davidson joins me today as we look ahead to something just a little bit different. It's quite high speed for a street circuit here, isn't it? Do you think that's going to throw up any unexpected situations?
Well, as long as the teams can keep everything cool, I don't foresee any particular big issues from a technical side of things. I do expect the track to be quite slippery though. We've not exactly had much chance to rubber in the surface. Any street circuit also comes with its own challenges, so I think we'll be seeing a few mistakes here and there. The smart strategy would be to expect a safety car, I think, especially early on when the pack is bunched up.
Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. A fantastic effort from Charles Leclerc yesterday puts him on pole, and starting alongside him P2 is Sebastian Vettel. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Hamilton, Bottas, Max Verstappen and Raikkonen, Perez, Ricciardo, Hülkenberg and Pierre Gasly, Stroll, Magnussen, Romain Grosjean and Faber, Lawrence, Russell, Lando Norris and Alexander Albon. Kubica and Devon Butler starts from the back of the grid, and with preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track.
And here we are then, starting in P15. Devon Butler had a penalty, that's probably why he didn't really try that hard in qualifying. We're going to go for just the one stop after 4 laps. Stay on softs for the first 4 laps and then go on the mediums for the rest of the race, as the 5 red lights are out and we are underway here in the race, and we get a very poor start off the line as George Russell overtakes us instantly, but we go on the inside of him and just about get back ahead of him there. And now we're trying to look on the inside, and we get past about, how many cars is that? About 3 cars? An absolute madness of an overtake there. Still on the first lap as well, and we're catching up to the Red Bull of Pierre Gasly. So it's quite weird that we are currently racing against the Red Bull. It's just like, obviously Red Bull's supposed to be the better car for Toro Rosso, although we're telling Pierre Gasly that at Germany. Anyway, because obviously that Grand Prix was a couple of days before I recorded this commentary. But as you can see, the straight line speed there, we are catching up to Gasly. I mean, we've got a bit of slipstream, fair enough, but we're definitely catching up to Gasly. We do have a better engine than the Red Bull now, I believe, after all of the R&D upgrades I've done. But we remain in 12th place, which is pretty damn good. We've held our own. We're not forming a train behind us as we have a look up the inside of Gasly, and we actually get the move done. A superb move there to get up the inside of Gasly, but he kind of squeezes onto the outside there and gets the position back. But we move on to lap 4 now, and we are past Gasly eventually, and we've now looking to make a move up the inside of Ricciardo and Raikkonen. Raikkonen and myself had DRS on Ricciardo, and I saw the gap up the inside and got past both of them, which was a superb move. As you can see there's me behind them both. Raikkonen has DRS, Ricciardo doesn't. I have DRS, Magnussen behind me has DRS as well, and I showed too much of the replay there. That's my bad, but as you can see, I do get past Raikkonen and Ricciardo, and I am up into the point positions. 9th place we're currently running, and of course, we're yet to score a point this season, with pretty poor finishes, it has to be said so far, due to mistakes on my behalf and other drivers, the fault of other drivers as well. But we come in for our pit stop. I think I'm on lap 4, which is when it told me to pit, but no one else is pit, which I find oddly strange that for some reason every time the engineers kind of tell you to do an undercut every single time, because no one else is pit. They told me to pit on lap 4, I pit on lap 4, and no one else is pit yet, but we come out in some clean air, which is going to allow us to, just drive pretty fast, has to be said, because we're going to have no cars in front of us. And as you can see there, that's the next lap, I believe, lap 5, and we just come out ahead of Lance Stroll, who I think was originally ahead of us. I'm not 100% sure. I think he was originally ahead of us, but don't quote me on that one. But we just about avoided contact with him there, and we stay ahead of him. Of course, he's in a Mercedes-powered car. We're also past Nico Hülkenberg as well, but this is just ahead of me. This is Valtteri Bottas and Sergio Perez in a fight with each other. And they just keep on going at it. Again, 2 Mercedes-powered cars, of course, the Racing Point and the Mercedes Works. And Perez with the DRS there gets past Bottas. This is directly ahead of me, by the way. Bottas is now a place ahead of me, and Perez was ahead of him. But again, the next lap down the main straight, Bottas gets his own back on Perez and gets back ahead of him again. It's an amazing scrap, this, as it has to be said, Valtteri Bottas. But as we go on to the next straight, the next DRS zone, Sergio Perez is going to get his own back again. He's behind Bottas. He's played it perfectly almost to get overtaken by him and then re-overtake again and get ahead. But he was a bit further behind this time, so they go side by side, wheel to wheel, as Crofty would say. And in the end, Sergio Perez does get ahead. And it's just a fascinating battle, it has to be said. And this is down towards the final straight, but as you can see, Sergio Perez has slowed down and he's going to be out of this race. He's got some sort of mechanical failure. Bottas has flown past him and Perez is just trundling along the roads like he's going on a Sunday drive down the streets of Baku. That was me going past him. There's Stroll, there's Hulkenberg, and yeah, Perez, it looks like it's almost like he's doing a GTA challenge where you try and follow the rules of the street, you know, like stopping at traffic lights, driving at normal speeds and all that. But as you can see, we're now in P7 and now P6, of course, as we overtake Sergio Perez's stricken racing points. Stroll tries to make a move on us, and as you can see, Kimi Raikkonen's also out of the race, so we'll have a look at that in a second. On radio, it says that Kimi Raikkonen has a serious issue, and he's just fully walloped into the back of Sergio Perez. And as you can see as well, I don't know if you just noticed that, but Daniel Ricciardo does not have a front wing. The Raikkonen crash, he crashed into the back of Raikkonen, I believe, as well, which obviously means that he's taken his front wing off. So Ricciardo has to come in for a pit stop. And this is behind me now, Lance Stroll and Hulkenberg. So I've got away from Lance Stroll because, of course, he was all over me originally. But Hulkenberg came back at Stroll and got ahead of him. And then these two were just battling ever since. And that's allowed me to get a bit further ahead of them. Not a lot was happening in my race. And as you can see, we reach the checkered flag. We're on the final straight. And we are going to finish in an absolutely fantastic race for us. We did nothing wrong. It's been a flawless race for us. We pit at the right time. Things happened ahead of us, but we are going to finish in P6.
Can't complain about that one. That was an excellent drive.
That's a fantastic performance from Ferrari. It hardly looked in doubt. Anthony Davidson, what helped them deliver this result, do you think?
I feel like consistency was probably the key today. There's being quick, and then there's being quick lap after lap after lap. If you can do that, you can capitalise on other people's errors without making many of your own. And that's an approach that can push you a long way up the field.
Here come our winners now. A thrilling race and a tremendous effort by Ferrari. Their history is well known, so it's no surprise to fans the world over to see them come out on top once again. So, Anthony Davidson, who would you rank as your driver of the day?
I have to give it to Lawrence. There was a lot going on all down the field, but they were the only one who I really felt maximised their potential.
So as you can see then, Charles Leclerc won the Grand Prix with Lewis Hamilton in second and Max Verstappen in third. We finished in 6th place, which was just an absolutely outstanding effort from us in the end. You know, starting 15th on the grid to end up finishing 6th as well. I mean, even the likes of, just look at the performance there of like George Russell and Devin Butler, who started last, and Lando Norris as well. Absolutely brilliant effort from everyone there. It was a great race for me. Everything just went right. My teammate Alex Albon ended up finishing 16th, which is at this point where the car really should be. But hey, Kimi Raikkonen and Sergio Perez, of course, the two drivers not finishing the race, and a considerable improvement on our previous finishes, which is 13th, 16th, and 17th. I think they were. So that is my first points of the season. 8 points that propels us up to 11th. Of course, overtaking everyone there who has gone down a place below us. We've got 8 points. The team has 8 points. Alex Albon still has none, but again, we overtake Alfa Romeo and Williams to go into 7th in the Constructors. And who knows, we may catch Racing Point in Haas soon. But pretty good race for us. We even got a faster lap than Lucas Weber. which doesn't normally happen. It has to be said. Normally the Toro Rosso is not faster, doesn't get a faster lap than a Alfa Romeo, but hey, a pretty good race, it has to be said. We even get the 600 points for team goals bonus, which was finish 11th or better. Of course, I hadn't done that before Baku, and Baku was my last chance to do it, because as you see as well, like the reputation for me has just gone up and up and up. But as you can see, the reason why I'm carrying this on is because we actually have contract negotiations to open into, and of course I'm going to stay at Toro Rosso. I'm going to try and do that for the entire season. I don't see myself leaving Toro Rosso at any point, but as you can see, that is the contract I get given from the start. I do try and adjust it somewhat. It's given me first driver as well, because of course originally I was the second driver and Alex Albon was the first driver. Because obviously, well, we were both new to the team, but they obviously preferred Alex Albon over me. And that is the contract I asked for. For some reason, I asked for no pit stop efficiency. Don't ask me why. But I tried level 3 on all the other things. 13th in qualifying and race position. But I have to lower that, well, up that almost to 12th and 12th. I reduced the race bonus down to 2, level 2. And that is what it gives me a new contract. So, yeah, we're now the first driver in the Toro Rosso team, and our target for qualifying and the race is now 12th, as opposed to, what was it, like 17th or something like that. Hold up, don't end the video yet. I forgot about the RND upgrades. I go for, I think it's this one, or I go for one of the upgrades, one of the aero upgrades, because, you know, we just want better turning on the car, of course. We've already got an engine upgrade coming, so I decide not to go for the engine upgrade, of course, and I can't go for another yet because that one's not coming. Yeah, that one's not come in. So in the end, I believe I decide to go for a aero upgrade. I deliberate a long time over this. I'm just waiting for the upgrade to come. Come on. I look for the chassis as well. Or do I upgrade the chassis? I don't actually remember. This is post-commentary. No, I think I do end up upgrading the aero, because the aero, in my opinion, at the moment is the most important thing. We need to turn the car properly, and I end up going for both of the minor upgrades there because, well, I can afford them both. I had like 1,600 R&D points, but yeah, that is it. That is definitely what ends the video now. And as I said before, like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you want to see more, hit that bell if you don't want to miss a video, and yeah, until next time, see you in a bit.